Welcome to another Mac Monday video. So, you know the saying, if you love the work that you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, I've always liked this saying, but I recently read a book that argues that you should do the opposite. You should follow what you're good at over following your passions. This book was called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport, and this is what I'll be talking to you about in this video. In this book, Cal argues that you should build up high value skills that you can use to fund your passions. So, following your passions can lead to dissatisfaction because you're focusing on what you want to do rather than creating value. And if you think about it, if you get raises at your company, the value that you provide is always more than they are going to pay you. So, if you focus on increasing the value that you bring, you can create more autonomy, and this can lead to more satisfaction in your job if you master it. A common theme of this book is to orient your mind for the craftsman mindset, and I really like this way of thinking. Cal believes that you get more fulfillment building and pushing towards something bigger than yourself. Cal says you should follow 4 rules. Don't follow your passion, be so good that they can't ignore you, also building skills or forming a craftsman mindset, turn down a promotion, which gives you autonomy, and think small but act big, and this is having a mission-driven purpose. Rule number 1, don't follow your passion. The passion hypothesis is the biggest myth in occupational happiness. It says the key to occupational happiness is to first figure out what you are passionate about and then find a job that matches this passion. Steve Jobs, who was well known for the follow your passion mindset, didn't start out loving computers. Instead, he only saw his first opportunity to flip computers and make quick cash. He was a good salesman and used his skills to build his business. There was no doubt that his love for Apple computers in the later stages in life, but he didn't start out having a passion from computers. He had a skill set that allowed him to scale his skills in the future in order to make Apple into the big company that it became. Having a career that you are truly passionate about is rare, and most passions cannot be translated into a career. For example, some people may really love playing the guitar, but it is not feasible or it's not realistic for someone to pick up a guitar and suddenly make a career out of it. It's a good hobby, but it's very difficult to make a career out of it. Rule number 2, be so good they can't ignore you. You should build skills and have a craftsman mindset. So Cal's inspiration for this book is actually Steve Martin's stand-up quote, so good they can't ignore you.
Someone stood up in an audience somewhere and said to you, how do you be successful? And you said you have to be undeniably good at something.
Well, it really is this. When people ask me, say, how do you make it in show business or whatever? And what I always tell them, I've said it many years, and nobody ever takes note of it because it's not the answer they wanted to hear. What they want to hear is, here's how you get an agent, here's how you write a script, here's how you do this, But I always say, be so good they can't ignore you. And I just think that if somebody's thinking, how can I be really good? People are going to come to you. It's much easier than doing it that way than going to cocktail parties.
Yeah.
You should focus on adopting a craftsman mindset and find a way that you can add value to your job. You need to build up rare and valuable skills, aka career capital, to offer to your employer. When you have developed skills that are too valuable to be ignored, then you get to choose a great job, one that is rich with creativity, impact, and control. So your goal should be to acquire as much career capital as possible, then more opportunities will be presented to you in the future. Deliberate practice is the key to acquiring career capital. You need to be constantly stretching your abilities beyond what is comfortable for you and always asking for feedback from colleagues and other people in your circle about how you can improve. He gives many examples of this in his book, but for people that have done deliberate practice for decades, they've made it their career because they've practiced so hard and for so long, as well as using their natural skills in order to get there. So he gives Jordan Tice as an example. He was a guitarist, and ever since he was a child, he was always challenging himself with new riffs, recording himself playing, and constantly improving his skills since he was a little kid, I think 5 years old. While he may have had the aptitude for playing the guitar, his hard work is undeniable and it eventually paid off for him. Cal gives 5 steps for applying deliberate practice in your work. First, you need to decide what type of capital market that you're in. There's two types. There's winner take all market and auction market. Winner take all is best of one skill. So basically, writing, blogging, where one person basically takes all of the market, versus an auction market, there's a variety of relevant skills and they all come together in order to make like a best employee. So you have communication, technical skills, sales, other types of skills. That's step one. So step two, identify your capital type. What kinds of capital do you need? And you define build opportunities to build capital. For example, if you're really good at coding, let's say in my case, then one of your weaknesses could be communicating what you need to your coworkers. So you need to find opportunities about how you can build the communication capital. And so some examples of this are maybe taking an online course, challenging yourself in your own life, maybe asking to do more presentations because making yourself uncomfortable will eventually make you grow and make you better at that, for example, communication skill. So the third step is define good. So this is good is a very relative term. So you need to set clear goals on the skill or skills that you want to build and figure out how you can do that using deliberate practice. Step four is to stretch and destroy. You need to push yourself uncomfortably, and this is where the growth happens. You need to get instant feedback on what is working and what is not. You can ask other people about how you can improve. And I know it can be very difficult because you're sort of putting yourself out there, but the right person will be understanding and know that you are just trying to improve. And so the average person will be very willing to help you improve because it's coming from a place of wholesomeness. And the last step, five, is to have patience. This can take a lot of time, so you have to have a lot of patience. The quote is Rome wasn't built in a day, so just try to improve a little bit every single day, whether that's taking 15 minutes every single day, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe on your way to work, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos on how you can improve the certain skills that you need. Now, the third overall step is to turn down a promotion, which sounds crazy, but you basically want to have autonomy in your work. So the whole reason for gaining career capital is to be able to define the work that you do. So if you think about it, an entry level position, you have to do a lot of monotonous tasks, stuff that you don't want to do. And in order to get to the senior level, you need to complete those tasks and slowly work your way up into getting more difficult tasks. If you are able to build this career capital, you can sort of start to pick the projects that you want. So once you acquire career capital, use this leverage to define the work that you do. If you're exceptional at your job, your boss will often let you work from home more often, give you more vacation time, be more understanding of your circumstances if you are getting your job done and you are doing it extremely well. Autonomy in your work and your life is actually one of the most important factors of happiness. I can pull up a study here, but being able to do what you want and when you want to do it is liberating comparing always being told what to do. The last part of this autonomy is the law of financial viability. So, when deciding whether to follow an appealing pursuit that will introduce more control into your life, seek evidence of whether people are willing to pay for it. If you find this evidence, continue, and if not, move on. Money is a simple indicator of whether or not you are creating value. The fourth step is to think small, act big, or have a mission driven purpose. So you need to build a career on a clear and compelling mission, and this ends up giving you meaning in your work, and you can always have a North Star to look at when times are tough. So you want to think small by patiently focusing on a narrow niche, but then act big once you master your niche and you can build the smaller niches together or on top of each other. Being able to wager small bets is very important because you're not committing lots of time or effort, but allows you to explore and test smaller things around your general mission. So getting feedback on how you can improve is also important here. So in order for a mission-driven project to succeed, it should be remarkable in two different ways. So it must get people to tell other people about it, and it must be launched in a way that can tell other people about it. For example, if you develop an application that is really cool and you think that other people will be able to use it, you can build that and tell other people about it. But then if they don't see any use from it, then they're not going to tell anyone else about it. So you need to make a product that is going to get other people to tell other people, and then you must be able to launch it in a way that is easily shareable. So like if you just manually download an application on someone else's laptop every single time, that's not launched in a way that can tell other people about it. But if you host it on like an app store or something, then that is launched in a way that, oh, just download this app, it's awesome. To wrap things up, here are the main takeaways from the book. 1, stop chasing your passion. 2, build career capital. 3, leverage capital to gain autonomy. And 4, try missions that feel meaningful. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.